The way that I started to love science was because of Bill Nye the Science Guy. He made it look so exciting and so wonderful to be a scientist that it kind of made me want to be able to do the same thing too.
John Jay is generally not traditionally known to be a science college, but we are. We have great facilities, we have great students, we have an amazing dedicated faculty that are working on amazing projects that are pushing the boundaries of science in every area, from biomedical sciences to straight up chemistry to straight up green chemistry. We are there.
I work with Professor Delgado Cruzada. I first got interested in working with her because I read her bio and I saw she did so much work with cancer and epigenetics. One of the things that I've loved about working with her is how she pushes me to do everything that I can and be the best scientist and also student and person that I can be.
Many of our students have immaterial associations with science that they learn from TV shows or other sources. However, when the student enters the laboratory, when the student starts experiencing and doing it with their own hands, then only at that moment the student flourishes. That is the ultimate, goal of any scientist, is to actually have their hands on something, on some question that hasn't been answered yet.
Prism really started with an idea. A few of us got together as faculty members and wanted to share with our students undergraduate research because we had all done undergraduate research and it was important for us. And so 3 of us each took on a student, worked with them for a year, and when they graduated at the end of that year, all 3 of them went on to PhD programs. And all of them now have a PhD. And when you think about in the decade prior to this, only 5 undergraduates from John Jay went on to PhDs. 3 students in 1 year was really a monumental achievement.
So undergraduate research used to be primarily at fairly wealthy, privileged institutions, and this created a real dearth of minority scientists because they just didn't have access. And so when minority-serving institutions get into the game, they can make a real difference, and they can really start to produce the students with the kind of experience that grad schools want. What we do at John Jay, we refer to as deep mentoring, meaning we get to know the students over years of time, and I think that's very important.
During my time in the lab, I have been able to design protocols. I have been able to conduct my own experiment, my own hypothesis-driven experiment, where I think about the experiment and I do my projects. I do all of my sample analysis. I do everything for my project.
You break down the barriers between professors and students and you really become colleagues. You become scientists working together. And once those barriers are broken and the students start to think of themselves as scientists, and then the future's really unlimited at that point.
Working with Dr. Karpi has been really good. I guess I was scared of a PhD, but I felt very comfortable with him. So I picked his lab. And since, I feel like it's the best decision I could have made. Without him, I wouldn't have been able to go to summer programs. I wouldn't have been able to now have graduate school interviews.
Growing up as an immigrant, a lot of the times what your parents expect from you, or the highest point or level of achievement that you can get is just graduating from college. It was Dr. Lentz who basically told me, have you thought about graduate school? Do you think about a master's or a PhD? And I was like, whoa, like I don't think I'm ready for a PhD. I think that probably made the biggest impact because I saw myself as being capable and just that sense of encouragement to go ahead and try new things and not just settle.
The reason why these programs exist is because kids from those communities of underrepresented minorities are not exposed to those potential careers.
There were no professors that looked like me. And coming to John Jay, one of the main reasons for me coming here was actually being that role model for other generations of students. And they could feel that at a given time in their career, they will have someone to look up to that kind of look like them.
When you look at the numbers of how many Latino women are in science, it could be a little scary to be like, I have to be one of those numbers in the future. But working with her, who has done it before, has given me confidence that I can do it myself.
Thanks to this experience, she has had a much clear vision of what her future will look like, and she's preparing for it.
It's been fantastic to see these students who start the program not even thinking about graduate school, going on to some of the most prestigious graduate schools in the country. So we now have alumni in all sorts of fields. We have alumni who are doctors, working at universities, working for the government, working in different scientific fields, and it really is amazing to see. The college really has an opportunity to become one of the leading institutions sending on minority students, women, and other underrepresented students onto STEM PhDs.
I think that's the power of Prism. Being able to connect with the students, being able to mentor them, being able to guide them, be a support service so that they're ready, so that they can compete with any other student across the country.
Up until now, we've been entirely federally funded, and this year we had to cap the number of students we accept because of a limitation on resources. But with more funding, we could grow it significantly. We could provide more resources, more training, and more types of activities for the students to benefit from. And it would be incredible to provide any student who wanted this opportunity to become a scientist.
I hope to one day be able to work for NASA, and I want to be able to combine the two loves of science of me, which is one is biology, the other one is space, into what I do for the rest of my life.